as members of
Is
Congress,
that good or bad?
Okay, I'll take a breath on that. No, it's
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to turn it around.
no. What you were very good. It's very good. It's called transparency. Anyway, my questions. As members of Congress, we follow very strict gift and ethics rules. We're not allowed to accept any gift if it's over $50 at one time, and there's a total value is more than $100 in a calendar year from any individual. There are exceptions, and an entire committee, we have an ethics committee that decides whether a trip or a gift is allowed. But as justices of the Supreme Court, you can and do accept these gifts without any committee or without hesitation, or maybe there's hesitation, but in any case, you can accept these gifts. The Supreme Court does not have a gift ban or a binding code of ethics. I know in 2023, a voluntary code of ethics was adopted, but it is entirely self-policing without any mechanism for enforcement. It is more permissive than the code that applies to all other federal judges. And just in full transparency, I strongly support Ranking Member Raskin's High Court gift ban, which would bring the Supreme Court justices' rules in line with the rest of the federal government. Based on the financial disclosures available for the justices, tickets and trips have exceeded this threshold of the which is in the voluntary code. This last year. So a couple of questions from this. Is this a time to make this a requirement instead of a suggestion? That's my first question.
You want me to do gifts? I can do. Ranking Member DeLauro, I would be happy to address the question about gifts. The court follows the restrictions of the Judicial Conference of the United States applicable to all judges with respect to gifts, and we are not. There are restrictions on our ability to accept gifts. We are not permitted to accept gifts with, some nuances and some exceptions from litigants before the court. Mm-hmm. And any gifts that we do accept, this is by statute. There's a statutory limit on reporting that requires reporting of any gift. I think that the limit is about $500 right now. You would know they would be on our financial disclosures because we have to disclose that. So with respect to gifts, we do have constraints, and we do have our in-house counsel. I mean, anytime I have any question about how the code applies to a particular circumstance, I always call him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you want to address enforceability?
On the code of conduct, as you noted, we the 9 justices all agreed to a code of conduct. It's specifically geared towards the Supreme Court. As you also noted, there is a question about enforceability, and right now the mechanism has no enforceability system. And this is something on which various people have spoken in the past, and I've made my views known in the past, which is that I think we should work hard to try to figure out some enforcement system. I will say that that's an extremely difficult question for a pretty obvious reason, I think, which is that I don't think that you would want an enforcement system that was controlled by the executive branch or by the legislature. And this is because of what you said in your opening statement about the importance of judicial independence. Right. You don't want a president picking an inspector general to decide, which of us is breaking the rules or how we're breaking the rules. So I think it really has to come from within the judiciary, and that's hard because, we sit at the top of the Judiciary Committee, so it's hard to figure out how to have a system that makes use of judicial resources to police us. One idea that has been suggested by some people is to use respected retired judges. Right. That has, some pros, some cons. I think that this remains an open question, a question of discussion, but so far we have not resolved anything.
Okay.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.